Hey guys, so there's a saying in Russian, "Хотели как лучше, получилось как всегда." Loosely translated, it means we wanted it to be better, or we wanted it to be like it, as if it was better, and it ended up being as it always is. I tried to use a camera, a higher quality camera on my computer. A friend of mine has a camera. I hooked it up. I realized that the connection was horrible and the sound was atrocious. So I'm just going to go with what I know. I'm going to talk to you guys again about the same topic, two topics I did before, and I want to re-record this and talk to you guys again. Maybe come out with some new, what we call chidushim, new ideas out of the things that I was speaking about. And the main idea is free speech. Free speech, what people call conspiracy theories, and what's going to happen going forward with all this stuff, and also going forward with what we think is going to be the Mashiach era. So today, or actually yesterday, for those of you guys that didn't watch this live a few minutes ago, I posted just an update about that, something that was told to the citizens of Israel, basically that we don't have to, due to the tremendous heat here in Israel, that we do not have to wear masks. We don't have to wear masks on the streets, and we only have to wear them inside when there's a lot of people. So I posted that on my wall with like a nice graphic, those graphics that Facebook lets you do with like the fire and stuff like that. So a person who I guess I'm friends with on Facebook, I never met the guy in my life, he posted something to the effect of, you're basically, you're saying a lie, or something like, this is a lie. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not saying a lie? I'm saying a lie that the government didn't say this? The Israeli government didn't say this? He's like, no, I'm talking about the fact that this virus is a pandemic. And he eventually went on to say and try to prove to me that this virus is not a virus. It's actually symptoms that are caused by what you guys have heard as 5G, the 5G towers that they're putting up everywhere all over the world. So he went on and on and on. He posted a few memes. He said a few things. And I told this guy, and I was trying to make the argument, listen, man, like, I agree with you that 5G itself is a problem, right? We're talking about radiation and different things. We don't really know what it is, anything about it. It's unknown, but as far as 5G causing a disease with people and it not actually being a virus or a disease, a real disease, the onus is on you to prove that to me. The onus is not on me to prove or disprove what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? The onus is on you. If you're coming with a claim that's like a little bit wild, you have to prove it. So at the end of this whole back and forth, and then the guy responds to me, well, this is what I believe, right? At the end of the day, he believes it, right? It's a belief. It's an emunah that he has about it. And I said, okay, you believe it, and you are well within your right to believe it. I'm not going to stop you from believing it, and what I'm also not going to do is I'm not going to cancel you, dismiss you, or unfriend you for having your beliefs, right? I'm not going to do what Facebook does and YouTube does and Twitter does and all these other things do. I'm not going to say you're violating my terms of service or you're inspiring, violence on my wall. I'm not going to cancel you. I'm going to give you a right to your beliefs, and that's it. And what I started thinking about is like, so what happened after that? I posted in the middle of this conversation. I posted a funny meme that basically, I'll tell you guys what it was. It drew like a picture. There's a picture of a 5G tower. There's a picture of like a bat, right? Here, I'll read it to you guys. Here, it says, "Wake up, sheeple. The truth is just so damn obvious." Yes, a 5G tower, cell tower, and then it says vaccine-based 5G chemtrail beam, which hits a weaponized 5G bat, and then the 5G bat, as it's flying, sends a COVID-19 mind control beam onto toilet paper, and it says, New World Order 5G activated nano surveillance roles. My friend, so this is like a parody, right? And I posted this as like a joke to respond to this guy. Seconds later, within like a minute, I get a message from Facebook, and I'm reading it to you guys right now. This post goes against our community standards on misinformation that can cause physical harm. And then I said, do you want to see and then it says, do you want to see options? Learn more about this post, blah blah blah. I click on it, and it says, do you want to agree with our decision or you disagree with our decision? So I figured, okay, if I disagree, maybe they'll have like some kind of a chat box that I can open up, and I can tell them, listen, guys, like, make my case and say like, okay, here's why I disagree with your decision. Hello, this is like a satirical piece. And it's funny, I actually sent this to my sister. My sister said, they have like, it's a disaster over there with Facebook. They have like people sitting, it's like the biggest censorship farm, where they have bots and like a broken algorithm and people just sitting there and clicking on buttons, censoring things. So you may have a person in some Southeast Asian country, if you guys go to Southeast Asia, listen, a lot of the humor, like I was in Thailand, people over there, I don't know about any other country in that area, people in Thailand, their humor is slapstick. They don't understand sarcasm. They don't understand satire. So maybe this woman, she saw the meme and she saw some bats and 5G. She was given like a set of commands to look for, right? So 5G and bats and mind control and blah, blah, blah. Automatic conspiracy, flash, click. That's it. Cancel. Community standards. Goes against community standards. Cancel. That's it. Zell. So, friends, it got me thinking, I was born in the former Soviet Union. We came to America in 1987. I mean, I live in Israel now, but we came to America in 1987. I grew up mainly in America. I spent, I lived there from 87 till 2010. So you're talking about 23 years. Then I made Aliyah. I lived here for 3 years. Then I came back. So you can say I spent a total of 23 plus about 29, almost 30 years in America, ladies and gentlemen. That's the majority of my life. I'm 39 years old. My parents dealt with the KGB in their face. They were what's called refuseniks. These are people who were not let out of the country for 10 years out of the Soviet Union. They had their jobs taken away. They were ostracized. They were canceled. They were dismissed. They were disinvited from weddings, whatever it is. I'm not going to get into it. I didn't go through that stuff as much. I was a happy kid, up until 6 years old. But I'll tell you guys something. When Facebook was pulling these tricks on me last week with my live videos, I told them straight up in a video, I said, guys, in the words of the late great comedian Bernie Mac, I ain't scared of you MFers. Come at me, bro. Okay? So I really never thought that America can get to this, where we can look at people's opinions and even their harebrained scare-brained ideas and theories and conspiracy theories, or things that they haven't proven to us that they claim, and we cancel them. And we censor them and we dismiss them. My friends, I'm just here to tell you, as crazy as your ideas are, if you come to me with a crazy idea or some crazy thought or this or that and the other, as long as it doesn't inspire people to kill someone or grab a gun, in the words of George Carlin, as long as it doesn't inspire people to become just plain guys from Montana, like Ted Kaczynski, I'm totally cool with you writing it. I'm not going to ban you or cancel you or anything like that. And in fact, on the flip side, I'll fight for your right to say that crazy stuff, okay? Like Alex Jones, right? I'll give you an example. Alex Jones, I agree with maybe 20% of what he says, 10%. Which brings me to what I'm going to say later, but will I fight for his right to say crazy things like, I don't know, gay frogs lick monkeys or gay monkeys lick frogs? Sure, because you know what? He could say that. It's a free country. It's a free society. We don't live in North Korea. You don't ban people from YouTube. You don't ban them from Facebook or Twitter for saying crazy things. Okay? And just because you have a perception that he might be inspiring certain people to do certain things, that's your perception, okay? That's what's called conjecture. I'm speaking directly to you people from, the people who work for Facebook and YouTube and all these other places. Your theories, your stuff is conjecture, okay? It's not based on truth. A guy sitting and saying something for 3 hours, and maybe it's crazy, maybe it's not, maybe it's whatever. It's not. It doesn't give you credence to cancel him. Okay? We live in a free society, and I'll just say, guys, honestly, I'll tell you, I have a rule, and I'll tell you why I created this rule, at least for myself. I remember in 2015 when the presidential elections were going on, the campaigns, the primary elections. I remember there was some bloggers that were posting. They started posting about Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein and his private island and all the sexual, whatever it is, crimes that were committed there, and all these famous people that flew over there, and Clinton and all this kind of stuff. And immediately the mainstream media wrote it off as a conspiracy theory. We know why, because it could have connected everybody connected this whole thing to the Clintons and anybody associated with the Clintons and maybe the Obamas, whatever. And about a year and a half later, we found out it's all true. We found out, and then this guy got arrested. He went to jail. And then we saw that the guy basically, there was memes going around that he did not kill himself. The CCTV camera in the jail went off, and the rest is history. The guy did not kill himself. He had some information. He could have, cooperated with the feds and given some information on a lot of people, a lot of famous people, a lot of politicians. We already know a couple of them. I'm not going to say their names. And yeah, so my rule is, my friends, whatever you hear today, right? I would say 1 out of every 5. I'm giving this kind of a medium golden rule number, not of every 10, but of every 5 things that you hear that sound like a conspiracy theory today on May 20th, 2020. By the time May 20th, 2021 rolls around, maybe even sooner than that, maybe even Christmas, one of those theories is going to turn out to be true and factual and even crazier and worse than you thought or than was previously told to you. Which brings me to my next topic. I was watching this morning, Joe Rogan was talking to a comedian, Pat Oswalt. They were talking about all of the stuff that's happening right now and why everything's so crazier and stuff's just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And all these things in reality. Forget about conspiracy theories. Just stuff happening in reality. Crazier and crazier and crazier. And then Joe Rogan chimed in and he said, I have a feeling that this is all AI, and what if we're just being programmed by, the powers that be to become like AI drones, to become like AI robots with all the social media and the mainstream and the brainwashing and the pop culture and everything. And then Patton Oswalt chimes in and he said, yeah, and then at some point we're going to wake up from this being, we're going to unplug, and those of us are trying to unplug, and it's like this battle, right? And I wanted to tell these guys, it's a shame that they don't have the understanding from the Jewish perspective, and I'm going to read out to you guys what I wrote in this in the comments section of the YouTube of Joe Rogan's channel. It's actually called JRE Clips. It's a channel that he has, a separate channel where he pulls short videos, clips of his longer podcasts. So it's actually a thing that was called Patton Oswalt goes off on an epic rant. Excuse me, guys. It's very dry here. It's 105 degrees in Israel. On an epic rant about the Matrix. So here I wrote, from a Jewish perspective, we are in the Matrix, and the reality that we live in is it, or reality is it. There are people on Earth who realize it, and people who don't. The Matrix, the people who live in the Matrix are the people who don't, right? They live in the Matrix in their mind. As for this ever-increasing insanity that you guys are seeing, I can only speak to what Jewish philosophy says. And it's actually appropriate that I'm talking to you guys about this, because today's the Yortzeit of somebody called the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. He wrote many books on Hashkafa, Jewish philosophy, halacha, not halacha, Kabbalah, and he spoke about what is the purpose of life. Not only the purpose of life, what is the goal of the world? What is the end game here, so to speak? The Messianic era, Mashiach. What is going to happen? What really is the point of all this, right? Where is history headed? What's the trajectory of history from a Jewish perspective? And it says, as for this ever-increasing insanity, that's what I wrote, I can only speak to what Jewish philosophy says. In the time just before the great unplugging, i.e. the dematrixing, for those who still live like Cypher, the character in the Matrix who, he sat in the restaurant and he said, he knew he was in the Matrix and he was eating the steak and he said, ignorance is bliss, right? Which is most of the world. The majority of the world lives like this, 95% of people. And I said, just before this time that we're going to be unplugged from all this, things would be very tough and very weird, right? And we just have to hold on tight. Mashiach is when we leave the Matrix, we see completely who runs the show, and we connect to him and to each other. So what I wanted to explain to these guys is that it's not that we're being programmed by, as AI machines, or to become like AI machines by the powers that be or whoever, or maybe even, the universe or God. It's that we are being reprogrammed or debugged by Hashem. He's reprogramming our minds, our consciousnesses, to think in a completely different way. And in the process of this happening, in the process of Hashem reprogramming us to be ready for the Messianic era, He's making everything topsy-turvy. It's like, I call it a cosmic, it's like a cosmic blender. Right now, the past few months, we've been in a blender. excuse me, guys. I would say even before that, but really the past like 3 months during this lockdown, and even a little bit before that, we started being in this like accelerated. He pressed the button on high speed, and now we're just like getting turned into this like banana, strawberry banana milkshake in a cosmic proportions. And that's really it. So that's the thing. The majority of the world doesn't, when they lack the knowledge of this philosophy in particular, that, so to speak, the trajectory. What is the goal of history? What is the trajectory of history? And it all has to do with us connecting to Hashem and us really meeting Hashem, and seeing what, so to speak, the Olam Haba, the world to come, is all about, which is not like the world that we've been living in, which is basically like work, sleep, eat, watch TV. Watch TV. I'm saying for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, right? And even you see people who go to concerts and all these events. What are they really trying to do? They're really trying to connect to something. They're going to like music, they're going to comedy, they're going to movies. They're trying to connect. They're trying to escape what they think is reality. They're trying to connect to the ethereal. They're trying to connect with their emotion. They're trying to connect spiritually. They don't realize it, but that's really what they're doing. Jerry Seinfeld made a special about it. You left your house to come see my show, and before you left your house, you're like, do I really want to leave the house? And you start arguing with your friends. Do we go eat somewhere? I'm hungry. Are you hungry? I already ate. Oh, did you have the tickets? Did you get the tickets? Where are we sitting? Who's driving the car? Who's taking? Who's this? Who's that? And then you get here and you're like, oh, I want to leave. I don't want to be here. Why did I leave? Why did I leave my house? Oh, we got to get back. Why? Because we have to go for work the next day. We have to wake up for work. Why? So we can make money. Why? So we can pay for the show like this. So we can pay for my house. It's just like a cycle of la, la, la. It doesn't end, friends. If that's not the Matrix, I don't know what is. I just described to you the Matrix, right? From a Jewish perspective. But these guys were saying, we're being AI reprogrammed to be like automatons, right? By the powers that be. My friends, even if you say that the powers that be are doing certain things, I will just tell you that the entity controlling these powers that be is Hashem. None other than Hashem. And Hashem is preparing us for the Messianic era, for Mashiach, for what's to come, for a big change, as one of my teachers, Yom Tov Glazer, said once. A big change is coming, and we have to be prepared for it and ready for it. And something, magical and wonderful is on the way. But before that happens, we're going to have to go through one hell of a blender, ladies and gentlemen. One heck of a blender. And that's actually what we're going through right now. And part of it is, things getting weirder and weirder. If you guys think that we're living in 1984, you're not crazy. I left the Soviet Union with my parents, came to America, thought it was a free country. Little do we know, it's the same thing. It's turning into 1984. Stuff's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. People are getting banned, canceled, dismissed, laughed at, whatever. Tossed from this social media, tossed from that social media, to the point where they created, these like social media platforms or websites for like the outcasts. What is it? I was listening yesterday. There was a few of these websites where you'll find people like Alex Jones on there. You'll find people like who's that other guy? The gay conservative guy. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you his name. He's actually very funny. That's why I want to tell you his name, so you guys can go listen to some of his content. Oh my God, commentator. Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, so like people, Milo Yiannopoulos got banned. A lot of these people, in what's called what they call now the, what is it? Intellectual dark web, the IDW, right? So now you have this intellectual dark web. Why? Because people with intellect, people want to think for themselves. People didn't want to be banned or canceled, or people who are either left wing or right wing, who want free speech, had to go into underground, literally, even though on the internet, but they have to go into a dark web. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to leave you off with one unsolicited piece of advice. Going forward, no matter what happens, with everything that's going on with politics, with what's everything that's in the public eye, mainstream media, Hollywood, my friends, what I would advise for you is stop being married to the idea of political parties, to the idea of or being so, set in stone with your political philosophies or ideologies. If you find out something about a person, and he's a member of the party that you vote for, that you support, or the member of the political side that you support, I would advise you, don't try to defend that person. Meaning, if it's something that they did wrong or illegal or nefarious, admit the truth, admit it to yourself, admit it to others, Or if you can't admit it to others, at least admit it to yourself. And that's it. And abide by that. Don't try to cling to, well, it's a politician, and you expect politicians to be honest. And look at your guy, and look at this guy, and look at that guy, and this is, you guys are doing this because your guy's being screwed over, so he's trying to screw over other people, and it's just the timing is kind of convenient and whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to find out something about a group of people in the political sphere, specifically in America. It's going to be a bombshell. A lot of people in the mainstream media, a lot of folks out there are trying to suppress it. I'm telling you right now, for the people watching who are, you call yourself a liberal or left-wing, whatever, progressive, regressive, I don't know, reconstruction, deconstructionist, I advise you, accept the truth wherever you find it. When you find out the truth, if someone's bringing you the truth, don't say, I don't know, it sounds like conspiracy, or I don't know enough about, there was this one girl, a comedian, came on Joe Rogan's show. I don't know, it sounds like conspiracy, but I don't know anything about it. On the one hand, she's like, oh, it's a conspiracy, oh, but I'm an idiot, I don't know anything about it, I'm not well-versed, blah, blah, blah. So she just kind of like, change it, she kind of like, change the subject, My friends, if I find out something about a conservative or Republican or this or that,